Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found, and of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. AEW Revolution is in the books. Big thanks and shout out to everybody who hung out with us for the live reactions. Of course, we're still going live right now. So thanks everybody who's hanging out with us.
Thank you.
Of course, thanks to the Enforcer for hanging out with us once again.
Enforcer's the best.
During the live stream. A really fun show. Not quite in terms of like big monumental surprises on par with perhaps like All In, which kind of set the standard. All Out, which really set the standard for that kind of show.
Yeah.
No big title changes. But there was a pretty significant story beat with MJF and Wardlow. He finally, we'll see how this plays out on Wednesday if he is still under contract with MJF. I don't know how that's all going to work out legally. Wardlow might be in a bit of a bind, but I was really happy to see them finally with that twist. MJF calling for the diamond ring. MJF, I don't know where it is.
Yeah, Wardlow patting down his suit, trying to find it. I don't know
where it is. I don't have it. And then when Punk gets the upper hand there, I do have it, Punk. Here you go. So I was happy to see that story beat. All in all, a really fun pay-per-view. I thought us sitting here, I thought it went sort of a bit quicker than I was expecting it to.
Yeah. For a 5-hour show, including the buy-in, it breezed by as much as a 5-hour show could. There really wasn't a come-down match.
Yeah,
the match that you thought maybe looking at the card that would be a come down match, the Tornado 6-man tag match with the AHFO versus Sting and Darby and Sammy. That match was crazy as heck.
That was wildly fun.
That was wild. If you stepped away to go to the bathroom during that match, you missed quite a show.
Bad move because that was awesome. Yeah, that was actually a really fun
top to bottom.
Match.
Every match was fun. Just a really solid show. From opening bell to the very end when Hangman Page kneels down next to unconscious Adam Cole to shake his hand and then goes on to celebrate his victory after retaining the AEW World Heavyweight title.
Absolutely. A couple debuts tonight as well. Shockingly, and probably the biggest pop of the night here on Twitter, I think I saw, maybe in the venue, I don't know. We'll have to ask some people who were there. William Regal.
Yeah.
Who I think will still go by William Regal. I don't know. It's how he still goes on Twitter.
Yeah.
Has and Tony Khan confirmed he is All Elite.
Yes.
Is seemingly going to be the manager for the new Danielson Mox faction following their match. He came in, slapped them both, said, "Shake hands and let's do this." Oh, man. I was over the moon. If they can just convince Samoa Joe to join that faction to build the future of AEW. Oh my God, Larson, that would be so exciting.
That would be pretty damn exciting. It would. So going in the match kind of finished how I thought it would with Mox getting the win and Danielson being upset about it. But before Danielson could really do something crappy to Mox, they were brawling afterwards. You have Regal coming out like the headmaster at this school that Mox and Brian Brian wants Mox to join them starting. It's basically what it is, to train the future of AEW, the future of pro wrestling. And he comes out like the headmaster. The only thing he didn't do was grab them by their ears,
Yeah.
He smacks both of them.
This is more of an old school headmaster where you're allowed to slap kids around.
Yeah.
100 years ago, maybe. I don't know.
Makes them shake hands. Yeah. And immediately I was like, all right, I want to see where this is going. Mm-hmm. Just immediately. Yeah. We also saw the debut of Swerve Strickland.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty damn exciting. He got a great reception from the crowd. Another huge addition to AEW. Their roster, seemingly week after week, gets more and more loaded.
It's going to be interesting what kind of, if they, I think Tony Khan was asked this question during his pre-Revolution conference call, do you have too many people? And he said he likes keeping a stacked roster. He likes having a loaded roster. He likes having depth.
It's a good problem to have,
that.
Said,
it is a good problem to have, especially if they're going to reboot Ring of Honor as either a weekly or monthly thing. you're going to be able to ship maybe some of your younger talent or maybe some of the veteran talent that's done a lot already in AEW. I'm thinking like FTR maybe over to Ring of Honor to help anchor that show. That'll relieve a little bit of pressure. But he's shown that he has been able to, and not for everybody necessarily, but by and large, through the use mainly of factions, he's been able to make decent use of pretty much everybody. You got trios titles coming up, so there's another story element you can add to make good use of people. Who knows what other sort of tricks he has up his sleeve. There's all sorts of themed episodes, of course, that they do of Dynamite as well to make up for the 4 pay-per-views a year they do. Swerve got a great reaction, signed a contract, talked on the mic a little bit. So it was really cool to see him. Obviously, so right now the word is Jeff Hardy. I think Fightful Select had a write up on Jeff Hardy. He's not able to appear right now.
Nope.
He won't be legally allowed because of his contract is no compete until the 10th. So it's the day after this week's Dynamite. But you would think that you would see him, as soon as possible.
As soon as he possibly could do it. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be there. Yeah.
And then, of course, although we had suspected that perhaps the giant, beefy, masked cameraman, on the floor there could maybe be Claudio Cesaro. Wasn't him, or at least wasn't revealed to be him. It would be hilarious if that's how he made his debut, and he's been here and somebody that sort of looks like him has been here for weeks. Just, man in the camera. But yeah, and then like I said, we talked a little bit about Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Britt retained due to, her pals, basically.
Yeah.
Her crew.
Yeah.
And then it was announced on Dynamite this week, Layla Hirsch and Layla Hirsch, who won her match thanks to a wrench.
Yeah.
They would be having an eliminator match, a number 1 contender match. And the winner of that will then go to Thunder Rosa's hometown, San Antonio, to take on Britt Baker and then win the title there.
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking about it throughout the week after Thunder Rosa got the win on Dynamite. I was probably brushing my teeth. Light bulb went off. The story for Britt was, Thunder Rosa, you can't beat me. So during that tag match, Rebel, Jamie Hayter, they're out of the picture. Thunder Rosa was able to hit her finish to get the win on Britt. That didn't happen tonight. So they've already set up in the story, 1-on-1 Thunder Rosa can beat Britt Baker. Britt can't do it without help, which we saw tonight. Yeah. So, I don't know if there's going to have some sort of stipulation in play for the match in San Antonio between Britt and Thunder Rosa, whether it's a cage match, they're barred from ringside. I don't know what it is. It's going to be a 1-on-1 thing, and Thunder Rosa will get the win in her hometown.
Yeah, it'll be electric. They did debut a new women's title tonight.
Oh, that looked great.
Saw some speculation in our chat that now it's bigger than the TBS title. Maybe they wanted their main women's title to be physically larger, but it looked great. It did
look really good. It looked really good.
Yeah, it looked terrific. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. The size isn't really, to me, I'm like, does the size matter? It doesn't have a giant cable network logo on it. I think that sort of is the thing that, makes it a bit goofier. But anyways, we can just go ahead and dive into this.
Brian kicked off with Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander. Of course, they've been building up to this match for at least a couple months.
Yeah, wow.
They've been teasing, even before the actual split. They were teasing that split between Layla Hirsch and Statlander for a good while. As you mentioned, a wrench was involved towards the end. Fun match though. Early on, Hirsch is attacking Statlander's arm. Statlander though hits a Blue Thunder Bomb, gets it to down the stretch. Statlander catches some double knees from Hirsch, puts Hirsch on the top rope. Layla hits her off the top, and then Chris gets Hirsch in an electric chair position, climbs the second rope, hits like a face buster, follows Michinoku driver, gets 2, and then Hirsch decks Statlander with the wrench that she gets from under the ring, follows with the moonsault to get the win. She leaves, Red Velvet comes down to check on Statlander. So I imagine we're going to see, after Hirsch loses the Thunder Rosa this Wednesday at Dynamite, we'll probably do a Layla Hirsch Red Velvet program.
Yeah, I think that would probably make the most sense. After that, we had what we thought was going to be Kenny Omega interview, and his music played, and I was thinking like, what, Kenny's going to show up in the buy-in? This is weird. His return is going to be like a big deal.
Yeah,
and sure enough, it was not Kenny Omega. It was Don Callis. He didn't really say a whole lot, to be honest with you. He was like, he said, I was, what is this? He said, it's going to be a great night for the elite. He said he was expecting the Bucks to win the tag titles. He said if Kenny were here tonight, he'd be winning the world title in the main event, but he's not. He says, I'm very confident that Adam Cole's going to win the title. He says, I think Cole will be a fantastic transitional champ right up until Omega walks through those doors and takes his place as new AEW champion. I find it highly doubtful that Kenny Omega is going to align with Don Callis when he comes back. He's going to be a huge babyface again.
Yep, he is going to be a massive babyface. Speaking of massive babyfaces, Hook was in action next against QT Marshall. QT had a promo in advance. He says, there's anything that I've learned in this business, if you want something done, you got to do it yourself. He says, as much as I don't want to have to fight one of my top pupils, I have to show him what being cold-hearted is all about. And then Hook pretty much just destroyed QT Marshall.
He wrecked him.
Wrecked him. Hits him with the T-bone suplex. QT shortly thereafter calls for a diamond cutter. Doesn't matter. Hook evades, locks him on Red Rum to get the win.
It might have been was it in fact a ring buckle that
okay, that's what I thought it was at first.
Okay.
Yeah. My window here for watching was pretty small, so I wasn't sure if I just mistook it for
I just saw a shiny
a wrench,
mechanical
but
object.
I thought it was actually a turnbuckle myself. So.
Well, there you go. All right, let's take a break here to get a word in from our sponsor, BetterHelp. So Larson.
Yes.
I'm sure you know that relationships often take work. A lot of us will drop everything and go out of our way to help someone we care about, but how often do we give ourselves that same treatment?
BetterHelp is here to remind us that you got to take care of the most important relationship in your life, the one you have with yourself. Several years ago, I started dealing with severe anxiety. It was then that I learned firsthand how important it was to take care of myself and talk to a therapist. But I also learned that it can be really tough to find the right person to talk to. Today, BetterHelp's online therapy makes that process of finding a therapist much more convenient by offering video, phone, or even live chat therapy sessions. You can be matched with a therapist in under 48 hours.
Remember that you are your greatest asset, so invest as much time in yourself as you do the others in your life. Check out our sponsor, BetterHelp. And right now, Going In Raw listeners can get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/raw.
That's BETTERHELP.com/raw.
Now let's get a word in from our sponsor, Chime. So Larson.
Yeah.
It's a new year, and what better way to kick off 2022 than by getting yourself a better checking account with no monthly fees?
Yeah, fee-free 2022 sounds great, Steve. And with Chime, an award-winning app and debit card, you'll get no overdraft fees, no foreign transaction fees, no monthly fees, and no service fees. You can also send money to anyone, even if they aren't on Chime. It's fee-free for you and no cash-out fees for them.
And with over 60,000 fee-free in-network ATMs, including at most Walgreens, 7-Elevens, and CVS locations, you can get your money when you need it, where you need it.
So make your first good decision of the new year and join over 10 million people using Chime. Sign up takes only 2 minutes and doesn't affect your credit score. Get started at chime.com/raw. That's chime.com/raw.
Banking services provided by and debit card issued by the Bancorp Bank or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Get fee-free transactions at any Money Pass ATM in a 7-Eleven location and at any Allpoint or Visa Plus Alliance ATM. Otherwise, out-of-network ATM withdrawal fees may apply. Sometimes pay anyone instant transfers can be delayed. The recipient must use a valid debit card or be a Chime member to reclaim funds.
And before we get back to the show, let's get a word from our sponsor, Coinbase. So, Steve.
Yeah.
I got to be honest with you.
Okay.
I've been curious about getting into the world of cryptocurrency, but I honestly find it all a bit overwhelming. Like, I have no idea where I should even start. Yeah. Steve, tell me, where do I start? Where do I start, Steve?
Look, man, I was once there with you, friendo, but then I started using Coinbase, which makes learning to buy and sell cryptocurrency simple. Coinbase's easy-to-use platform has basically turned me from a crypto dullard into a crypto pro. It was a breeze to start my own portfolio, and Coinbase supports the most popular digital currencies on the market, as well as offering portfolio management and protection, learning resources on a mobile app so I can keep tabs of all my crypto in one place.
So whether you're looking to diversify, get started, or just find a better way to get into the crypto markets, get started today with Coinbase.
For a limited time, new users can get $10 in free Bitcoin when you sign up today at coinbase.com/going-in. Sign up at coinbase.com/going-in for $10 in free Bitcoin. This offer is for a limited time only. After that, we had House of Black versus Death Triangle. This was a really fun match. You know, we had a lot of good Haas action here between Redbeard and Brody King. I thought that was really cool. Got to see everybody do their shit. Malachi got to mist Redbeard, and then Buddy hit him with a knee, and then Brody followed with his pile driver. So they brought the big man in to basically eat the pin. But he had a lot of good stuff in this match. I hope they keep him around for Death Rhombus or whatever it's going to be.
Death Square, Death Rectangle,
Death Square,
Death Trapezoid.
Any of those, it all works.
Any sort of quadrilateral.
You got like two smaller guys and one big dude. So that's like, I guess, like and then like
a trapezoid.
Yeah. You got one big guy, you got one small guy in Phoenix, and you got two. Well, Pac's sort of shorter too.
Yeah, but he's stout.
He's wide. But we're talking about length when it comes. Anyways, next up we had Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston.
It'd just be some sort of four-sided shape.
No idea. I haven't taken
geometry
philosophy in a long time.
Philosophy, yes.
Next up we got Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. Hey man, you know what? I'm glad I was wrong about this. Eddie Kingston, it doesn't advance his character at all, but Eddie Kingston won the big one.
He did,
and I thought it was great. I thought it was awesome. You know, I'll be honest. My main thing about this though is that the build was so shitty. Like there was one solid promo segment, and then that was kind of it. Like we didn't even get to see Santana Ortiz tonight.
Hold up, there was two solid promo segments. One with Jericho and Eddie, and the other one from Rampage this week where Eddie was going to get that Reese's peanut butter pie.
Okay, if the feud was Eddie Kingston versus Pie, you'd be absolutely correct, and I'm sure Eddie Kingston totally squashed that.
The pie isn't just a pie, though. That feeds into, like, especially
hey, you said feeds into. There you go.
What was Bryan Danielson getting on Eddie about? You don't put in the work.
Yeah,
you know, right. You rather go to catering than go to the gym. Essentially, that's what he was saying.
Right.
So this is part of that. That was like Eddie saying, "Oh, let's go get that pie," but then what happens? Pie doesn't matter. Maybe he did go to the gym instead of eating that pie. He got the win.
I think the idea is he still had the pie. This is literally having his cake and eating it too.
Yeah,
man.
Eddie's turned the corner after 20 years in the business.
Yeah, so he can finally eat that pie and
still
beat
get the
Chris
wins.
Jericho.
It was great.
And beat a newly super in shape Chris Jericho. This was a fantastic match.
Really
These
good.
guys beat the shit out of each other, dropped each other on their heads. Chris Jericho, to his credit, does put quite a few people over, and it is awesome that in this case, I thought the feud mainly was between Jericho and the other two guys, but yeah, they did this. Eddie Kingston ended up getting the clean win over Chris Jericho with two of his back fists.
He locks on some submission I haven't seen him use before. It was like a dragon sleeper, but with the other arm, he was like cranking it, like it was a car jack.
Here in chat says the moral is pie better than Jim. He had to double down on the pie. He was like, I'm not getting enough pie. That's the issue here.
Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah, it could be.
But yeah, Jericho was kind of reverting back to his heel tendencies. He even had a call back to his beef with Aubrey Edwards. That goes back to the very beginnings of AEW. But yeah, there's a stretch here where Jericho was just wrecking Eddie, dropping him on his head. There's all sorts of German suplexes, Saito suplexes throughout this bout.
Yeah.
But yeah, in the end, Eddie ducks a Judas effect, 2 back fists, that submission. Jericho taps. So then afterwards, Eddie's like strutting over to Jericho. He's like, come here, shake my hand. He even tells him to stop playing his music. And Jericho gets up. He's about to shake it. He can't bring himself to do it, and he leaves.
Can't do it. So this is, I like this, given it accomplishes two things seemingly. Chris Jericho has been, like you said, exhibiting heel tendencies anyways, going back a couple weeks to his middle manager type guy, saying we have a mandatory meeting coming up, and then the condescension or the condescending nature that he's dealing with Eddie Kingston.
So now on Dynamite, probably, Santana Ortiz will go up to him and it's like, hey, you gave your word that if Eddie beat you, you'd shake his hand.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah.
And he'll try to talk his way out of it. They won't believe it.
Yeah.
Dissension.
You know what they should do? They should do a little bit where Jericho's like, hey, come over here and you can shake my hand. Come to my house. And then Kingston rolls up and he's like, oh, where is he? And then his head pops up he's inside, but there's a window and he's like, come over here. I'm pooping. And then Kingston walks up and he's like, oh, trying to get us.
But there's Reese's peanut butter pie there on the ground instead of Big Red. That's what you're going at, aren't you?
Well, I thought it was going to be a handshake. He'd like stick his hand out.
Oh, gotcha.
If you guys want to see what we're talking about, just head over to the new Friendo Club TV channel. There's a great little skit video we did for the handoff of Big Red. So, yeah, Jericho, no shaking of the Eddie Kingston hand.
Nope.
Next up, we had Young Bucks versus Redragon, 2Dragon again, versus Jurassic Express. Again, really fun match. Featured a very loose, a very tenuous alliance.
Well, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. I think we all saw where the story was going. These two teams, Young Bucks and Redragon, would work together to a degree until one of them tries to go for a win. That's going to piss off the other team. They will fight. Whenever this situation happens where it's like, okay, we're aligned in this match, but they both want to win, does no team ever discuss this? But it seems like that's the case. Like, if you're in a situation to win and the other team breaks it up, what the hell do you expect? Unless some agreement is made in advance about how that's going to be handled. Because you assume all the teams in the match want to win the belts.
So what you're saying is, okay, so we have an agreement. Let's take it. You and me, we have an agreement. Let's take out the enforcer. Get him out of the match. And then, but at no point before then do we go for the win. But what does happen if you find yourself, through no fault of my own, out of the match, I have a chance to win. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Just not pin the guy?
Exactly.
I feel like, as in most instances in wrestling, nobody seems to communicate.
That seems
like every once in a while with like backstage segments, but then something happens on Raw, and then like on the next episode of Raw, it's like they haven't talked the entire week.
I know.
Yeah.
That's what a wrestling trope. I know, strange.
It's a weird wrestling trope, man.
It really is. So, because that's something I would like to see happen, where they're backstage and they're like, okay, if this happens, then we'll do this. This happens, we'll do that. As you said, let's do everything in our power to take out Jurassic Express, and then it's just you versus us, and then may the best man win.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know, man.
But it's if it's a situation where, hey, we're all on the same team, Adam Cole team, or a Master Chief team tonight.
Team 117.
Yeah. Then a win for one is a win for all.
Yeah.
As long as the gold comes home with us, it's all good. Then we could deal with it. If we do one-on-one, we can do that afterwards. Your chance.
Nobody talks about anything.
Got to sort this stuff out beforehand.
A lot of chair shots to the head. Anyways, they don't think about this stuff. I mean, I don't know, man. If I'm a wrestler, I want somebody just sitting there saying, okay, what if this happens, this happens, this happens? Like, let's just go out there. Okay, we'll figure it out.
Maybe. You just want to call it all in the ring, including whatever sort of
yeah, exactly.
plan you might have. So, as we mentioned, this played out pretty much how we thought it would. Redragon and Young Bucks working together so long as one of the other teams didn't go for the pin. Jungle Boy is isolated for a long time to start
Oh my
the
God,
match.
he got his ass whooped.
He was isolated for a while. Eventually gets the hot tag to Luchasaurus. But again, like Kyle O'Reilly would go for a pin, Matt Jackson would pull him off. They jawed each other because they were mad. Vice versa. That happened a number of times. Eventually, though, Matt tries to bring the belt into the ring. Instead, Kyle O'Reilly snatches it from him, clobbers Jungle Boy with it. Jungle Boy kicks out.
Yeah.
So then Redragon.
Yeah. God, that was a hell of a kick out right there.
Yeah, it was.
Gee.
And then right after that, Redragon hit total elimination. Their finish. Luchasaurus breaks up that pin. So the Young Bucks are in there. They're laying out everybody. They hit a BTE trigger on Jungle Boy. And then Kyle O'Reilly breaks up that pin. So Matt starts getting on him, giving him a bunch of shit. He eventually throws him out of the ring. Match breaks down. Jurassic Express eventually hit their finish to get the win.
Which is probably, I'm not a huge fan of Jurassic Express.
Well, that finish is great.
But that finish is like a top 3 tag team finish
really
right now
good.
in pro wrestling.
It's really good.
So good.
It's so really good.
Yeah.
After that,
I think probably the only better finish in tag team wrestling is La Impressa's finish.
Which is
I don't know.
the moonsault onto nothing.
Yeah, you're right. The moonsault onto nothing.
Moonsault onto
What else
nothing.
would it be? After that, we had the Face of the Revolution ladder match. Of course, as we expected, Wardlow won this, but he had a star. This was a star-making night for Wardlow. It really was, and it proved that people love Wardlow. They are doing a masterful job building this dude up. There was a great spot. It opened up with the three big beefy dudes, Wardlow, Keith Lee, and of course Hobbs, all in the ring together. And they're all everybody's getting hyped up. Crowd's all into it because, we're going to see these big dudes just start killing each other. No, that didn't come till really the end of the match because Orange Cassidy gets in immediately, starts doing his stupid shit where he starts doing their little kicks and stuff like that.
And stuff, yeah. There was a great spot with Orange Cassidy, though. So he's got the ladder over his head and swinging it around. Eventually, Keith Lee grabs it, I believe. Wardlow's on the other side. And so they lift it up. And he's still holding on to it, and Cassidy kind of flings himself up to stay on top of the ladder
and gets on the ladder.
Yeah, and he's trying to reach for the ring. They kind of shake the ladder. He crotches himself over one of the rungs. Just clever. There's a good clever spot. I enjoyed that.
There is a lot of really clever shit in this. I really appreciated that bit that you're talking about. When you said Orange Cassidy had the ladder on his head and he was swinging around hitting everybody, there's this great spot where Ricky Starks pushes Hobbs out of the way and absorbs the ladder shot himself. For some reason, Hobbs decides to just start walking towards the ladder again, like he's some broken AI, and eats it. I don't know, a lot of funny stuff like that. Eventually, the three smaller guys are taken out, and so Hobbs, Wardlow, and Keith Lee all start making their way up the ramp. There's a ladder up there. And they sort of take Keith Lee out of the equation for a second. And Hobbs and Wardlow grab the ladder on either side, and they tear it apart. They yank it in half. So they both have a piece of ladder. So Hobbs is like, Wardlow, go up that way, and we'll both take all these guys out with this hunk of ladder. So, of course, Wardlow, a little too trusting, goes first. Hobbs takes him out from behind, and then you get a bunch of stuff with those three big men. Hobbs and Keith Lee end up brawling near the commentator table, and they had sort of shoved Wardlow out of the way. Wardlow comes back around, and he just pounces both of them off the stage through a couple of tables that are set up there, which led him to go back to the ring eventually and take everybody else out. He gave Christian, I believe, a power bomb.
Yeah.
And then he climbs up. He goes up because Ricky Starks is climbing. He goes up there. He does a fucking
he does a flat-footed jump, like a box jump.
Oh my God, that was
ladder
nuts.
That's bridged between the ladder that Starks is climbing on and then the ropes. Yeah.
And then he grabs Starks and he power bombs him onto the ladder that's bridging right there.
Yeah.
And then he climbs up and he grabs the brass ring. Awesome performance from Wardlow. People were so into him, and of course, he got one of the biggest pops later on as well.
Next, we had Tony Schiavone on the stage holding a contract and just waving it around so everybody could see it had Swerve's name on it.
It was like the biggest fun. Just a Swerve.
Yeah. So someone must have told him in his earpiece, hey, we can see the name of the contract.
Stop putting that in front of the camera.
And so he hides it behind his back. He introduces Swerve. He signs his contract. He says the real is back. He says I can go on and on about all the dream matches I'm going to have, all the titles I'm going to eventually take. My question for you all, and already the crowd is already chanting, Swerve's house, Swerve's house, Swerve's house. And he says, whose house? Swerve's house.
Swerve's house. That's right.
Great.
So
happy to see.
Yeah, it's always great to see somebody show up and the crowd already knows about them and they already know what to say.
And they're
excited. All that kind of shit. Yeah, it's awesome. Probably feels good. After that, we had Ty Conti versus Jade Cargill. Of course, we all figured we know how this went, and sure enough, it did. But still, it was a pretty fun match. There was a lot of good stuff to like here. They always book Ty Conti pretty strong, and I like the finishing bit here. I mean, I don't know if there's any of the bits that you wanted to go through here, but it took sort of Ty getting. She hits Jade with a pile driver towards the finish, gets a 2. Ty goes up top. Jade pushes her, and Ty ends up hitting her head into the ring post. And then Jade is able to grab her right off the ring post into the position for the Jaded, and hits that for the win. But I thought this was a decent match.
Yeah, there was that spot where Jade rolls up Ty and Ty kicks out, and when she kicks out, she sends Jade towards the rope, and Aunt Jay's there with the chair and hits her with it. They tried to put in some enough sequences. We're like, all right, well maybe Ty has a chance, even though we knew Jade was going to win.
Yeah, there was that great pump kick to Anna Jay. She got wrecked up against the table.
Yeah.
That looked like it sucked.
It did look like it sucked.
Yeah.
After that, we had MJF versus CM Punk in the dog collar match. Punk calling back to his Ring of Honor days. He had his AFI theme. He had the basketball shorts, sweat jacket.
Yep.
It was, minus all he was missing was the long hair.
The long hair, yeah.
Yeah.
Old school Punk.
It was pretty great. This match was pretty spectacular. It was bloody. It was violent.
It was long.
Punk was working over MJF's hand, so he couldn't hit a couple moves. Punk got his knee worked over after inadvertently kneeing the ring steps after wrapping his knee with the chain. So a couple times he's going for a GTS, can't hit it. Eventually, though, Punk does go up top. He's looking for a Pepsi plunge. MJF fights out, crotches Punk over the top turnbuckle. Earlier in the match, MJF had poured a bunch of thumbtacks out in the middle of the ring, and they were jockeying for position to put the person onto the thumbtacks. MJF superplexes Punk onto the thumbtacks. It gets him a 2 count. So at that point, MJF calls for Wardlow. Come out, Wardlow. So Wardlow, he's already showered from the Face the Revolution match. He's got a nice suit on. He's got a button-up shirt, top 2 buttons undone.
He's
Casual,
damn near doing the Vince strut, dude.
Oh.
He was strutting down that ramp.
Casual and relaxed. So he comes down, and MJF says, "Give me the ring." So just the most casual way. You have Wardlow, and he basically does this. Shrugs.
I don't know where it is.
So MJF turns around right into a GTS from Punk, and he lands right in the thumbtacks.
Oh, yeah.
So then Punk looks over at Wardlow because it's still Wardlow there.
And Punk and he's sort of spent too, and he looks over, and like you said, he's still Wardlow, yeah.
And so Wardlow locks eyes with him, kind of smirks a little bit, does this. Oh. Pulls out the diamond ring.
Yeah.
And just places it on the apron and leaves.
Yeah.
And so Punk kind of smiles. He takes the ring.
Big old smile on his face.
He puts it on, looks at it. He pulls up MJF, gives him the finger.
Yeah. MJF spits on him.
And then Punk
spits on his face, and then Punk just beat. And that was it was a sloppy little bit of camera work there, but I thought it sort of worked in the violence of the moment because it's sort of a little tighter on Punk than it should have been. They should have gone wide with it, but he just lays it like that, and it's like, so you don't actually see the action of the punch like to the face, but I thought it kind of worked because you're just on Punk and it's sort of like this violent movement.
Yeah.
I thought the camera work was pretty good. One thing that we forgot to mention about the Ty Conti Jade Cargill, it's funny because Ty comes out, she's got this really great entrance gear, right? She looked like $1 million. They cut to this guitarist who's like strumming the solo for Jade Cargill's theme. And then Jade comes out and she's in full Mortal Kombat. Fuck, I don't know who the character is.
Jade's the name of the character.
Yeah, that makes a total sense. Yeah. Oh man, that was awesome.
It was amazing.
JR was like, man.
He said she looks like a superhero.
She looks like a superhero. And Excalibur's like, yeah, or a Mortal Kombat character.
Yeah.
You know?
After that, we had Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker. Early on, Britt's in control. Eventually, though, Thunder Rosa makes a comeback, but it was always a thing where Thunder Rosa would make a comeback, Rebel will get on the apron, distract the ref, and allow Britt to turn the tables. It just happened over and over and over again. Down the stretch, Thunder Rosa hits a tombstone, so Rebel gets on the apron to distract the ref, so Thunder Rosa goes there, punches her. Britt rolls her up. Thunder Rosa kicks out. She rolls up Britt. Britt kicks out. Britt hits the super kick. Rebel's up again to distract the ref. So Britt's calling Jamie over to toss the belt in. She does. Britt hits a stomp on Thunder Rosa on the belt. Thunder Rosa kicks out. So Britt's looking for lockjaw. Thunder Rosa escapes that into a lockjaw of her own and starts just clobbering Britt in the head. So Britt rolls her up, gets a 2, and then Thunder Rosa locks on a straitjacket hold. Well, Rebel gets on the apron again. Britt's tapping while the referee is distracted with Rebel. So Thunder Rosa releases the hold, does the spear through the ropes off the apron on Rebel.
That was full, dude. That was like a Darby thing too. That was like full speed. I know. Full speed.
Full speed. And so Jamie Hayter comes over to try to get involved. Thunder Rosa lays her out with a clothesline. She gets back in the ring. Britt hits her with a stomp right away to get the win.
Yeah. And then like soon after that, it was announced, oh, by the way, she's going to be winning in San Antonio.
Yeah.
They
made a point of saying that the winner of the Layla Hirsch Thunder Rosa match will face Britt Baker in Thunder Rosa's hometown of San Antonio.
Yeah. Hilo Longheavy here in chat says, according to Wikipedia anyways, Punk versus MJF was the same length as the Adams fight, 25 minutes and 45 seconds.
Okay.
They were both very long matches.
They were both long matches.
After that, we had Bryan Danielson versus Jon Moxley. They wanted blood. They got blood.
Yes.
This was again, obviously a very physical match. John Moxley got to do some Moxley stomps in this. I thought that was pretty cool.
That was cool.
Yeah. What stood out to you in this?
So
match?
the blood happened. They were both on the floor. There was like a hockey fight on the floor, and they both hit each other with huge forearms. They both collapse. They both come back up. Mox is just pouring buckets.
That happened like in an instant.
Yeah, he's bleeding all the way down to like his collarbone. Danielson gets up and he's got a little bit of blood in his forehead.
Yeah,
just a little bit. So towards the finish, Danielson hits some stomps. Let me go back a little bit, actually. So Danielson's looking for some stomps. Mox blocks that. So they both kind of have like heel hooks. No, sorry. They got double wrist control on each other, and they're just booting each other back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. So eventually Mox hits Danielson with some Danielson stomps. Sinks in a bulldog choke. Danielson rolls up Mox. Mox kicks out. Danielson hits a capture suplex plus a D plus. That gets him a 2. So Danielson hits some Danielson stomps. Locks on the triangle. He's already flexing on Mox. He thinks that's it.
Bad move, yeah.
And he sees Mox is still kind of stirring a bit, so he starts dropping some elbows. Mox fades a little bit, but he grabs Danielson by the beard. So Brian hits some more elbows. Locks the triangle in deeper, and he just starts hitting shots like flush.
He like puts his fist up to his eye and then winds back, bang.
Yeah,
does
like
it again.
Flush
bang.
on his nose, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mox, does like a jackknife cover to roll him up. Danielson doesn't release the hold. Mox gets the win. So as soon as the bell rings, Danielson is right in the ref's face. And then they start fighting each other. And there's no music, no pageantry. He doesn't even come down the ramp.
He's coming down the side of the ramp like he hopped the rail or something.
Exactly. Regal comes to the ring. And he gets between Mox and Brian. And so Mox is about to charge Brian again. Regal holds him back and then punches him. Gets it right in his face. So Mox's blood is smearing all on his forehead. And he turns to Danielson, who at this point is smiling and laughing.
He's smug as shit right now.
He wants a hug because that's his mentor,
Yeah.
So Regal goes up to him and just slaps him.
Yeah. He thinks he's the favorite kid right now.
I know. But Danielson, after that, at first he's stung by it, but then he smiles.
Yeah.
So the Regal's like, essentially, get in here, shake hands. Get in here, shake hands. And they're hesitant, but eventually they do.
Yeah. Is this an actual quote? White Brownie here in chat because they're doing the media scrum right now. He says, CM Punk says, I'm happy that Ring of Honor footage is in good hands instead of on a shitty app on a tab that doesn't work. Is that an actual quote, or are you just saying that? Because that'd be hilarious if he actually said that.
Yeah, this is from Sean Ross Sapp.
Oh, that's great.
So we're here to the AHFO versus Sting Darby Allin Sammy Guevara match. Sean has a quote here from Sting. Sting tells me he didn't realistically expect to do the kind of things he did tonight when he signed with AEW.
Man, I don't think anybody expected that.
No.
This match was fucking nuts. It's a tornado tag, so it's kind of like anything goes. You just have to pin in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
But like there was garbage cans, there was tables, chairs, and there was Sting going off the what was it called? The vomit. I know Vomitorium, which is the overhang for like an entrance. And he went off that through like a set of double tables. There's like 2 tables on top of 2 tables onto Andrade. It was the most fucking insane thing I ever expected, or I never expected to see out of Sting. It was absolutely crazy. This match was all over the place. What else you got?
Nothing. Sorry.
Oh, okay. You made a face. You went.
I thought I had something, but disregard.
It was fiction. But yeah, I mean, as we expected, Sting, Darby Allin, Sammy Guevara won this. Of course, Darby wanted nothing to do with Sammy Guevara. At the entrance, they had.
There's something. It is. Yeah, Regal got the graphic. William Regal is all elite.
Okay, there you go. Then that's awesome. That's absolutely great. I love it. Man. Yeah, so that was the Butcher and the Blade got involved here. They're the ones who stacked up the tables in the crowd
Pretty
there.
much the whole rest of Andrade Hardy family office got involved. During the course of this bout.
Yeah. They had a sick little Darby Allin student film entrance.
There's something we got to mention. Yeah, somehow like a SUV goes flying into an RV. I don't know how they managed to do that.
It was like a funeral service for Andrade Hardy family office. God, I can't say.
But then they're like they use the SUV as a projectile weapon, like it was literally shot out of something.
Yeah, and then Sting had a flamethrower.
Yeah.
These are all things that happened
in that little thing. We also saw Sammy do a Spanish fly.
Oh shit, that's right.
On Isaiah Cassidy. So tonight, they had like a couple. I don't know how you describe other than pillars. They're like walls, kind of, that were bordering the entrance ramp from the stage going down to the ramp. And so at one point, a couple tables got set up by Mark Quinn. Cassidy was probably doing like a swanton or something off that. Sammy was on the table. Sammy fights off, climbs up to that pillar thing, and then hits a Spanish fly off that through the two tables, which was insanity.
Oh my, dude, it looked. But yeah, because the tables, they didn't break. They just sort of, like, it kind of broke one of them, but like it just sort of like slipped out from under them. I mean, it broke their fall to a degree as much as it could.
Yeah.
But this wasn't like they go straight through and the table breaks. It sort of like slipped off to the side.
Yeah.
It looked gnarly.
Yeah, it sucked.
I don't know. I'm not.
Then after that, Sting did the bit where he jumped off.
Yeah.
So the finish saw Darby brawling with Matt Hardy back to the ring. Hardy gets a chair, takes it to Darby, puts his head through the hole in the backrest, looking for a twist of fate. Darby escapes that, hits the Scorpion Death Drop onto the chair, goes up top for a coffin drop. Yeah, sure, he just barely grazed Matt Hardy because for some reason Matt Hardy kind of turned his shoulder away.
Well, it's all in Darby's head. All the kinetic energy goes to his head, and
I guess so.
Yeah,
and so Darby gets the win.
Works for me. And then we had our main event. Well, there was some brawling on the end. Wasn't there some oh no, that was it.
I felt bad for these two guys because they're out there beating the hell out of each other.
Yeah.
Crowd was spent. That's the only downside to having such a long show is that by the time we get to the main event, and this was a really good match. It was really good.
Yeah.
Crowd was absolutely spent.
Yeah. I'm curious to see where this goes from here. I kind of question the decision to go with Adam Cole is still one of the most popular wrestlers in AEW. And I don't know you go with the guy who is very popular, Hangman Page, against another guy who's incredibly popular, regardless if he's Adam Cole is makes for a great heel, but people love him. And that's kind of, I wonder if some of this, like the crowd was chanting, the Adam this, Adam that, because they're both Adams. And I saw in chat, I didn't know this. I didn't hear this myself, but it wouldn't surprise me if it was true that when Hangman started really laying into Cole towards the finish, when he wrapped his hand up, the crowd was booing. And just the nature of this feud sort of going into it, like they did a decent job towards the end, building some heat. There was some good promo stuff when they beat him down. Thought it was a little too soon for Adam Cole to be in this spot right now against this guy, I guess. And I don't know. And yeah, it was a long card and maybe the crowd was just spent, but also it wasn't the kind of thing like it was Punk versus MJF where people wanted to see Punk beat the shit out of MJF.
Yeah.
And they like MJF too because he's so good at what he does. But at the end of the day, they wanted to see him get his ass whooped.
I'm guessing this is Tony Khan's effort to build up Hangman's reign as champion. He had the time limit draw with Danielson, fantastic match. He beat him, another fantastic match. He had that brutal bout with Archer. So I would not be surprised over the next 6 months we get Hangman beating a lot of the top names in AEW until he faces off with MJF.
Yeah, you're probably right.
At which point MJF will probably beat him and win the title.
Yeah.
I think this is all about solidifying Hangman Page as a true main eventer and then building up his title reign so it stacks up with Mox's and Omegas. I think
you're right. No, I think you're right about that. I think that is the philosophy that they're going with right now. I just wonder if they could have gone with a different main event level guy.
I don't know who.
I don't know. Like, has he fought Jericho? Who did he fight to get the belt?
Who? Page?
Yeah.
Kenny?
Yeah, that's right. It was Kenny.
Yeah, he fought Jericho at the first Double or Nothing and lost.
That was the first. Yeah, that was the first one, and he lost.
Yeah,
that'd have been perfect because Jericho's like in great shape right now.
Maybe that's where they're setting up down the line. Maybe for Double or Nothing.
That could be.
Yeah, that'd be 3 years later.
I mean, yeah, it would have required them shuffling around the card. But that's sort of my point. Is that this is like you start here, and then you go down the line. But yeah, I don't know. Again, like it was a long card, and yeah, they were busting their asses, and I'm not sure if anybody could have. If you would have put MJF versus Punk as the main event, I don't know. That finish to the MJF Punk, that was a go home happy.
That was the most emotionally charged feud going into the show.
Mm-hmm, absolutely, yeah.
And while they did what they could the last 3 weeks
that,
of this one, it didn't have the emotion that MJF and Punk did.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right about Adam Cole. I mean, I don't know how long you wait to do this. It is about establishing Hangman Page. I get all that. I just wonder.
One thing Tony Khan has consistently done is when he has a plan, regardless who he brings in, regardless how popular they are, seemingly, if he has a plan, he sticks to that plan.
Yeah, that's true.
And if the plan is for Hangman to carry that belt till Double or Nothing, All Out, Full Gear, whatever it is, seemingly he's sticking to it.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. You can just not do Adam Cole right now.
Adam Cole will be fine. Adam Cole will be fine.
I know. But anyways, no, I thought this was a really terrific match. Again, yeah, that's right. T-Mac says the heel tactic of him tying the rope with his belt and using Cole's finish. Because at one point, Hangman brought down his... Because Cole hit... It was great because Cole hits his finish on Hangman. Hangman kicks out.
But he didn't lower the knee
pad. It's
pad.
the boom on him. But he didn't lower the knee... And I love that Excalibur brought that up. He's like, he didn't lower the knee pad. And Hangman was able to kick out of that. And then Hangman just furiously tries like 3 more times to get it. And Hangman either like... The last one, he just like sort of dropped down. He sort of collapsed down to the ground. And Cole misses. And the other 2, he was like intercepted. There was that awesome Page moonsault where Cole just, and it's that kind of shit that makes the crowd just love Adam Cole. When you hit a super kick like that on a guy doing a moonsault, which we've seen before with Adam Cole, and it's beautiful every single time,
timing's
and he gets the timing like is impeccable. Yeah, it's good. There's some overbooking stuff here with Redragon running down to ringside, trying to distract Page, which allowed Cole to get a super kick and then a Panama Sunrise off the apron. And then Dark Order comes down. They run off Redragon. No sign of the Young Bucks. They didn't come down or anything.
No.
We had the Deadeye through the table.
Yeah.
From
Redragon
Page
before
to Cole.
They brawled up to the stage or up backstage with Dark Order. They brought the Timekeeper's table closer to the ring. Yeah. In the end, though, as you mentioned, Page ties Cole to the top rope with his belt, hits a bunch of super kicks. He runs, I assume, to hit a lariat. Cole hits him with a super kick, allows him to free himself. And then Page, hits the super kick, lowers the knee pad, hits the boom, follows with the buckshot lariat to get the win.
And that was the second buckshot, too. Mm-hmm. He hit one first, and Cole did the full flip sell. And this one, he just sort of took it like a base hit. Yeah. That was good stuff.
Yep.
Afterwards, it was kind of interesting. Page, Cole's completely out. Page kneels down, picks up his hand, and he shakes it. And then he leaves, and that's it. No, like, sort of post-match debut or surprise or anything like that.
No one else coming out to challenge Page, nothing.
Mm-hmm, yep. If anybody here in chat has any questions, feel free to load some up. We'll answer a few. Diehard Homer here says, to answer your earlier question, Larson, wrestling in a movie theater is a blast.
Oh, that's cool. That's very
packed
cool.
Theater and the crowd chanting as if they were there. That sounds like a lot of fun. I know they're doing that with AEW these days. Wasn't Jeffrey was there?
Jeffrey was at a theater too. Yeah,
was that one?
Miku says, "Would it be surprise if Page slowly turns heel now after he shoved one of the Dark Order members?" See, I gathered that because he was like selling something, and Alex Reynolds comes up to him, and I think Page didn't know who it was. Just turns around and pushed.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all it was. They didn't make a moment
pretty surprised. I'd be pretty surprised if he turned heel.
Yeah.
Hugh Longheavy, yes. Got to bring this up really. He said, who looked more like a dork? Abrahantes dressed like a smelly dungeon master, or Adam Cole in the Halo entrance gear. So it was great. So Hangman had some like rainbow fringe on his costumes, which we were speculating has to do with that new horrible bill they just signed in Florida. And Adam Cole comes out with like parts of a Master Chief gear, like the Halo Spartan gear from the video game.
Yeah.
It just looked dorky as fuck. There'd be comments, and we're gonna people who leave comments. Oh, Halo's great. He looked awesome. He's Chugs. I love Chugs. Chugs is great.
Chugs. Chugs is great.
Dorky as fuck.
Big Easy, 1999 with sub, asked, does AEW need to scale back the scope of their shows, takeover style, 4 to 6 matches? They do risk burning out the crowd. They do.
Yeah, this isn't the first time.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it's a good problem to have with having such a loaded roster, you know? Because you can put on, like, these cards that are top to bottom just absolutely stacked, but 12 matches is a lot.
We went into this... When on that Rampage, when they announced another one, it was like, oh, okay, another one, really, for like the buy-in. It's too much. It's probably too much. It's probably
Max
too much.
Max it at 9. 9's a good number.
I think that's probably, especially when like 2 of them are almost a half hour long.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a lot. A lot happened, and that crowd. I mean, I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, let's say. Tony Khan's booking or placement philosophy was such that whatever the most emotional match was of the night, the most high-profile match, you put that on last. Mm-hmm. Do you think the crowd would have responded the way they did to CM Punk versus MJF at the end of what we saw tonight if it was at the very end of the night in the main event?
It's hard to tell when they had to sit through 4 hours of admittedly really good wrestling, but it's hard to keep the energy level up for 4 hours, especially when AEW crowds are so energetic.
Anecdotally, but just from my own perspective, when I know a match is about to end, the adrenaline kicks up. I'm like, oh, shit, okay, this is going to happen. And I kind of wonder if that would have been the way to go. But this is his philosophy. He always puts on the world title match.
The world title on match on last, yeah.
Yeah.
Missed this earlier. My apologies. Awkward Vegas rated with a party of 26.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yeah. No, I thought the crowd was in the main event. Personally, I just think that the crowd is a little bit on the torn side. I think everybody loves Adam Cole, you know, and he is like one of the most delightful people I've ever had a pleasure to encounter in wrestling. Paige seems like a fucking awesome guy too.
Yeah.
R. Lopez says the crowd was hot for Cole and Paige. From the perspective here watching it, it seemed like they were a little less into it. It seemed like a bit of a tired crowd. Mm-hmm. Maybe live or paying closer attention. Maybe I'm wrong about that.
Duke of Wicked with the sub. Thank you so much.
He also says, who would you like to see help Hangman's reign next? Who would you like to see Hangman get that win over next? I think Jericho's a great option.
Yeah, Jericho,
especially if Jericho's going to be a bad guy now.
Especially 3 years after the first Double or Nothing, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Floppy Nips asks, does MJF win the TNT title before the AEW title? No, I think he goes straight to the AEW.
Yeah,
title.
I think it's directly the AEW title.
Yeah. Maggie says, you just mentioned Tony, for better or worse, doesn't deter booking no matter who he signs. Do you think that's what happened with Rosa not beating Britt? Like he envisioned a long reign for Britt?
I think,
she says pure speculation.
I think they see the San Antonio show coming up, and being that's where Thunder Rosa is from, they want to give the crowd there that moment. They maybe want to give Thunder Rosa that moment in front of her hometown crowd. I think that's literally all it is. If they didn't have a show in San Antonio in the next 2 weeks, Thunder Rosa would have won the title tonight.
I don't know. On that one, I don't know. You were probably right. But Britt has become such a big deal. And they just have not done a great job. And maybe it's the kind of thing where it's like, you know, once we put the title on her, like I know she's already super over. Like people love Thunder Rosa. Mm-hmm. And maybe it's the kind of thing, once they have the title on her, the spotlight will follow. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think he said something like 60, like it's 60, it's like 60-40, like long-term booking versus sort of booking on the fly.
Yeah.
So yeah, but no, that world title thing, that's he clearly has a plan for all that stuff. Anyways, that's going to do it. Twitch chat, stick around. We'll answer some more of these questions. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We appreciate it. We know it was a long day, but you guys were awesome.
Yes, thank you so much, everybody who joined us throughout the stream, stuck around here for the recap. Much appreciated. Thank you, everybody, for the subs, the bits, the highlight messages, participating in channel point wagering. This whole experience is tons of fun because we get to spend it with our community, and it's awesome.
It is the best community in wrestling. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.